post a video on Wednesday because I just didn't have the energy to. I had a doctor's appointment Wednesday morning, right after work, so by the time I got home, I just wanted to go to bed. I had another slight weight gain Wednesday of 0.4 pounds, so I'm kind of hovering right around that 32 pounds weight loss. And since I'm already on the 1.7 of the Wegovy, and I noticed through my pharmacy or prescription app that my prior authorization for the Wegovy was going to end in a couple of, like 2 weeks at the time of the appointment. And I only had one more increase to go on the Wegovy. I did talk to my doctor because once Zepbound was FDA approved for weight loss, that became an option with my insurance coverage. Which is why we went with the Wegovy to begin with, because at the time, Mounjaro or Zepbound hadn't been approved yet, so my insurance wouldn't cover it. It would only cover the Wegovy that was FDA approved for weight loss. So, even though I do have other comorbidities, and I do have PCOS, which does make me prone to insulin resistance, I don't have a current diagnosis of prediabetes or diabetic. I did back in 2006, but I haven't tested pre-diabetic, which is what I was in 2006. I haven't tested pre-diabetic since 2007, so not a current diagnosis, but I am prone to like insulin resistance kind of issues, but not enough to get me approved by my insurance for Mounjaro at the time. It is, like I said, now that Zepbound is FDA approved, my insurance will cover it. So he is putting in the prior authorization, because either way he was going to have to put in a new PA, either for continued Wegovy or to switch me to Zepbound. So he decided to try for Zepbound and see if it gets approved. He's in the hopes that it will, because I still have all of the comorbidities that got me approved for Wegovy in the first place. The high blood pressure, the high cholesterol, technically sleep apnea, even though I don't have my CPAP machine for that. I know, bad nurse. Bad nurse. Yeah, and then of course underlying PCOS. The only difference is that my BMI is no longer as high as it was, but that just shows that the medication, or this class of medications, is working. So we're in the hopes that they will approve the Zepbound. I think when he did the math, it was like a 16% weight loss of my original, or of my starting weight. I don't know, might be more than that. I don't know. But either way, he loved my progress, obviously. I did too, but I also know that I only have one more, dosage to go, and then that's it. And the Wegovy might hit like a plateau. So here's hoping, fingers crossed. Hopefully, he had me go ahead and pick up, my last box of Wegovy that would be covered under the current prior authorization. We didn't increase the dose on that. We just left it at the 1.7, so that I'm not going all the way up to the max dose on Wegovy and then kind of starting all over again with the lower dose on the Zepbound. He did say that if the starting dose of Zepbound's not available, he's willing to start me out on the next dosage, because I've been on the Wegovy for so long, but he doesn't feel comfortable going much higher than that to start me out. So hopefully, my pharmacy has the Zepbound. So far, my pharmacy has been one of few that hasn't given me any issues with the Wegovy. I've had a couple of coworkers who've had issues with the dosages that they were on at the time, but then me going in to get that same exact dose like 2-3 weeks later didn't have any issues. So here's hoping that I don't have that problem. Fingers crossed. Because he's like, 1 week, 2 weeks without it, it's fine, but he doesn't want me going more than like 2 weeks without the medication. If we do have a supply issue with the Zepbound, he'll talk to the insurance about going back to the Wegovy if we have to. So that's my update as far as that. Yeah, possibly, hopefully, switching over to the Zepbound, just for, some better efficacy, because, yeah, the Wegovy works until it doesn't. I mean, so far the weight gain that I've had on the 1.7 hasn't been as bad as the weight gain that I had on the 0.5. It's only been like 0.2, 0.4, maybe 0.6 at a time. But still, that's showing signs that this dosage isn't as effective as we would like it to be. And if it weren't the next to the last dose, that wouldn't be so concerning. Or if I were closer to my goal weight, or had even come off of my second blood pressure medication. I'm still on it, barely. If I were to go in with the blood pressure numbers that I have right now, I would not be prescribed a medication. I would be told diet modification, lifestyle modification, and monitor closely. But because I'm already on a medication and it is still elevated, he's keeping me on it. So, yeah, if we'd made some more improvements with my blood pressure, if we were closer to my goal weight, I still have at least 30 pounds to go. I'm halfway-ish there. And that's to a conservative goal weight. I would still be technically overweight. So we'll see what my health looks like at that weight. Am I off my blood pressure medication? Has the inflammation completely subsided and not just improved? Because still on night 3 or night 4, if I go to 4 nights in a row, the swelling starts to come back into play. But that could just be, nurse life. But, so we'll kind of evaluate my other comorbidities and things like that, as to what my final goal weight will be. Am I comfortable stopping even a little bit shy of the, 135-ish that I would like to be? Keep in mind, I'm 4'11". 135 is definitely not too small, I promise you. Yeah, we'll see kind of health-wise where I want to stop and go from there. So yeah, I'll see you next week maybe. I don't know anymore. Yeah, I meant to do a video later in the day, but oh my god, I was done Wednesday, and then I started spring cleaning over the weekend, my weekend, which is the end of y'all's week, is my weekend. So it's Sunday night, happy St. Patrick's Day, and I'm back to work tonight. So again, see you next week.